It's compact, nicely designed and rather versatile. It does PCM up to 768 kHz and DSD 512, does up to 16 times upsampling, has balanced and unbalanced line outputs, 4.4 and 6.3mm headphone outputs, and costs under €900. But how does it sound? The verse, as I will call the LAIV Crescendo verse from here on, is available in silver or black 3mm thick aluminium with gold accents. It measures 168 by 188 by 50mm and weighs 0.9 kilograms. The larger knob does volume and selects when in setting mode. That is activated by this button, which is also used to return to normal operation. A selection is confirmed by this button. It's a good solution given the limited size of the front. Then there are two headphone outputs, one 6.35mm and one 4.4mm type. The latter is for headphones and in-ear monitors that use balanced cabling. The left side of the front is for the display and the standby button. All settings can also be done using the infrared remote control. On the back we find the 15 volts DC power input that needs 2 amperes. A wall-wart type switch mode power supply comes with the verse. Then we get the digital inputs, USB B according to USB audio class 2, Toslink optical, SPDIF coax on RCA, and I2S on HDMI. And then the analog outputs, balanced on XLR and unbalanced on RCA. The balanced outputs deliver 4 volts RMS in 82 ohms, the unbalanced outputs 2 volts RMS in 41 ohms. And to be complete, the 4.4mm headphone output delivers 1100 milliwatts, the 6.35 output does 230 milliwatts. There are 3 gain settings on the outputs. Access to the inside is reserved for service staff and reviewers. It's sealed and the warranty is void in the event of breakage. Directly behind the DC power input, the incoming voltage is regulated and buffered. The digital input signal is converted from serial to UART signal and sent to the ARM processor here. I guess that here the signal is converted from USB and or I2S to the internal format. It then goes to the AKM sample rate converter and passed on to the FPGA running LAIV's R-2R code. It is clocked from these picosecond crystal oscillators. These clock out the audio data to the resistor banks, here and on the back side of the circuit board. In total 4 resistor banks, 2 for the left channel and 2 for the right channel. So it's a fully balanced DAC. In between the resistor banks we see the shift registers. The then analog signals are sent to the discretely built Class A output stages. Below the gold-colored cooling profile there are 8 power transistors that form the headphone amplifiers. The elegance of such small device also has slight operational inconvenience. The power button and the volume control are easily operated, but the 2 small buttons next to the volume control are slightly less convenient, especially for right-handers. But LAIV has included a remote control that, together with the large characters on the display, lets you change settings from the listening position without a problem. There are 10 menus. The first is the input menu, which is self-explanatory. The output menu lets you choose for fixed or variable line outputs. Switch off the headphone amplifier, which by the way make it run 8 degrees cooler, 35 instead of 43 degrees Celsius. It has 3 gain settings and 4 levels volume protection. Each step 10 dBs lower. The next menu lets you choose how DSD is played, native or converted to multibit. When you play mixed PCM and DSD tracks in native DSD mode, you get a soft click when switching between DSD and PCM. This is a consequence of how DSD works. Non-oversampling or sampling rate conversion is the next choice, followed by setting the target sampling frequency up to 16 times in PCM and DSD 512. Two filter types are available, sharp and slow. The display can be set to 3 brightness levels, can be dimmed or switched off after a given time. The I2S input can be set to various pinouts and can be set for local or remote clock. The power menu lets you choose between manual and automatic power switch off. The About menu shows the firmware version. If a new version becomes available, it can be downloaded from the LAIV website, copied to a microSD card that then can be inserted in the microSD slot in the bottom. The last menu option resets the Verso to factory settings. So as you can see, despite the small size, it's a rather comprehensive menu. The first was connected over I2S to the Volumio Motivo streamer using a 1 meter AudioQuest Pearl HDMI cable. The Motivo functioned as a Roon endpoint and connected to the clean output of the Optone Audio Ether Regen switch with Optone Audio Ultra Caps 1.2 power supply. From there, a fiber connection to the switch at the ground floor connects to the modem router downstairs that connects to the internet. The analog outputs of the Verse were connected to the analog 1 line input of the Arcam Radia 825 Class G amplifier, which drives the Acoustic Energy Radiance 1 speakers. These speakers are connected with Kimber 4PR speaker cable and placed on target speaker stands with Stack Audio over 50 isolators. The REL T5 subwoofer on Stack Audio SW isolators takes care of the bottom lows. It is connected to the speaker terminals of the Arcam with the cable supplied with the subwoofer. This is a good sounding DAC when used with the power supply that it came with. The stereo image is royal, while the instruments take a correct place in it. The lows are impressive, full yet with fine texture. The mids and highs are as usual in this price class, as is sibilance handling. The sound quality seemed to have more potential than I heard, so I replaced the standard power supply with the S-Booster BOTW PMP Eco MK2 15V linear power supply. It's a bulky box that outputs a far cleaner voltage than the standard switch mode power supply, and that has great impact on the sound quality. For now, voices became more open and rounded. Brass became very pleasant and cymbals sounded like cymbals. Now it became time to switch between no oversampling and 8 times oversampling. That again further broke open the sound quality. Going further to 16 times oversampling did not bring that much more. Selecting the slow filter did. With the standard power supply, I rate the Verse mid setup 2, and with the S-Booster power supply, I rated top setup 2. I understand LAIV's choice for the simple switch mode power supply. It keeps the Verse in an attractive price range, and if you come from a cheaper DAC, the Verse already brings so much more. But if you are in for the best achievable, consider a slightly better power supply, like one of the 15V iFi iPower switch mode power supplies. And keep in mind that when over time you seek further sound quality improvement, an S-Booster power supply brings that at an investment of around €300. The Verse itself delivers oodles of quality for the €900 it retails. Okay, the S-Booster is bulky and no looker, especially compared to the lovely looking Verse. Using the remote, it's easily controlled from the listening position, so you can enjoy sound qualities at several levels while looking at the elegantly looking DAC. The power supply can be placed out of sight. And on that bombshell we come to the end of this video. A new one is coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe or follow me on Patreon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram or TikTok. Patreon and YouTube Premium members get early access and no ads. A huge thank you to everyone who supports the channel financially. It's great to see the increasing numbers of small donations. Please don't be shy. I appreciate every single euro, pound, dollar or equivalent you donate. You keep me independent and motivated. It's easy to contribute using the QR code on the screen or links in the description. I'm Hans Beekhuizen, thank you for watching, and whatever you do, enjoy the music.